Hey, welcome back to We Are the Hansons. I'm your host, Maya Hanson, and I am so glad you're here with me today because today is one of my favorite kinds of episodes. Not a tips episode, not a how-to episode, not a list of things you should be doing or ways to be better or habits to build before 8 in the morning. Just a family episode, the kind where I pull up a chair, pour myself something warm, and just talk to you the way I would talk to a good friend who is sitting right here at my kitchen table. Real talk, real moments, real life. And this past weekend gave me something really worth talking about. Something I have been turning over in my mind ever since it happened. Because we celebrated Tristan's 20th birthday, and it was one of those days. You know exactly the kind I mean. The kind that does not announce itself as special ahead of time. The kind that does not have a theme or a playlist or a color scheme. The kind that just builds and builds throughout the day until you find yourself standing in the middle of your own house thinking, wow, this is one of the good ones. I want to walk you through the whole day because it was the kind of day that deserves to be told out loud. The kind that belongs in the family story. The kind you will still be referencing at the dinner table 10 years from now. So grab something warm, get comfortable, and let's go back to Tristan's 20th birthday. There are some birthdays that carry more weight than others. Not because of what is spent on them, not because of how many decorations are hung or how elaborate the setup looks, but because of what the number itself represents. And 20 is one of those numbers. 20 has always hit a little different to me. 18 gets all the fanfare. 18 feels very official and very serious. Everyone makes a big deal out of 18 because it comes with all these markers that feel significant. You can vote. You can sign contracts. You are legally an adult in the eyes of the world. 18 is a loud number. It demands attention. And then 21 comes along and it also gets a lot of attention for its own reasons. But 20 tends to just quietly slip away. 20 tends to just quietly slip by. And I do not think that is fair because 20 is actually remarkable. 20 is the year you are fully done with your teenage years. There is no more 19. There is no more 17 or 15 or any of those years where you are still figuring out who you are and what you think and what you believe. When you are 20, you have cleared that runway. You are standing on the edge of something wider, and that is worth celebrating in its own right. 20 is the beginning of your actual adult life, the beginning of the decisions that are going to shape the next chapter, the beginning of figuring out what you want and working toward it in a real way. And yet it still has one foot in the familiar. You are still close enough to your growing up years to remember them clearly, close enough to lean back on the people who raised you. Close enough to still be figuring it out without the pressure of having to have it all together. I think that balance is actually one of the most interesting places a person can be. 1 foot in what they know, 1 foot stepping into something new. That is where Tristan stood when he turned 20 this weekend. And I could not have been more proud to be in the room celebrating with him. Now in our house, birthday planning is not a complicated production. We do not sit down a month ahead of time with a notebook and a spreadsheet and a full project plan. That is not how we roll. We think about the person. We think about what they love. We think about who needs to be there, and then we make it happen. That is the process. And for Tristan, it was actually very clear from the start what this day needed to look like. He is not someone who needs a big show. He is not someone who is going to walk into a room and want spotlights and a DJ and a formal event. That is not Tristan. Tristan just wants the people. He wants everyone around. He wants good food. He wants to be in a space where everyone is relaxed and comfortable and nobody is performing for anybody else. And that is honestly my favorite kind of gathering to put together. Because the simpler the goal, the harder it can be to actually deliver. Getting everyone in the same room at the same time is not always easy. Life gets busy. Schedules do not line up the way we want them to. People have jobs and commitments and all the things that make coordinating a family gathering feel like a small miracle when it actually comes together. But we made it happen. We got the people lined up. We figured out the food. We made sure that when the day arrived, everything was in place for Tristan to walk into a room full of everyone who mattered to him. And that felt good. That felt like exactly the right kind of effort to put in for a 20th birthday. Not flashy, just intentional. Just love made practical. Okay, let's talk about the food. Because in this family, food is never just food. Food is language. Food is how we say, I love you, and I'm glad you are here, and I want you to stay a little longer. Food is the reason gatherings last as long as they do. And for Tristan's birthday, we were not messing around. We ordered 74 chicken wings. 74. I want you to sit with that number for a second, because that is not an accident. That is not a casual. Let us just throw some wings in the cart and see what happens kind of decision. 74 wings is a statement. It says, we know this house is going to be full. It says, we know this crowd. It says, nobody is leaving this table hungry. And that is exactly how it played out. Wings were the star of the table. And I love that so much because wings are the most honest food there is. They are not meant to be eaten politely. You can sit across from someone and eat a chicken wing and pretend to be anything other than exactly who you are. You just pick it up, you dig in. You get sauce on your fingers. You reach across the table without asking. You grab another one before the plate is even halfway done. And all of that reaching and grabbing and laughing and passing the ranch is exactly the kind of mealtime energy that tells you that gathering is going well. Wings are family food. They are the kind of food that belongs at a table where nobody has to perform, where you can just eat and talk and be yourself. And that energy was there from the very first plate. Alongside the wings, I also made 2 dishes that carry a lot of meaning in our house. Grandma Darlene's mac and cheese and Grandma Darlene's mashed potatoes. And I want to talk about those for a minute. Not just because they are delicious, which they are absolutely, but because of what they represent. Cooking from someone's recipe is an act of love. It is also an act of memory. Every time I pull out those recipes and start gathering the ingredients, I think of Grandma Darlene. I think about her kitchen. I think about the way she moved around a stove like it was second nature. I think about the way food was never just something she made to get through mealtime. It was something she poured herself into. It was how she showed people they were welcome. It was how she said, sit down, stay a while, you belong here. And when I cook those dishes now, I carry all of that with me. She is not here at the table anymore, but she is not completely gone either. Not when those dishes are there. Not when you take that first bite and something in you goes quiet for just a second before the noise of the room rushes back in. That quiet moment is her. That is the memory making itself felt. And I am also grateful that I have those recipes. I am also grateful that I can keep cooking them. And I am also grateful that every time I do, the table feels a little fuller, even when the guest list does not change. The mac and cheese was rich and creamy and exactly what you want it to be. The mashed potatoes were smooth and buttery and warm in a way that goes beyond temperature. They warm you from the inside out. And on a cold, stormy day with a house full of people you love, that kind of comfort food is exactly right. It is exactly what the moment asks for. Now I want to talk about the people, because the food was wonderful and the day was wonderful and all of it was wonderful, but the people made it. The people are always what makes it. Tristan had all 3 of his brothers there, Colin, Keenan, and Gavin, all 3 of them, in the same room on the same day. If you are raising multiple kids, or if you grew up in a big family yourself, you know what that means. Getting all the brothers together is not something you can take for granted. Life has a way of spreading people out. Different schedules, different places they need to be, different things pulling at their time. So when you get all of them in the same room at the same time, you feel it. You feel the completeness of it, like a puzzle that has been missing pieces, finally getting them all in place. Like a sound that finally feels finished. That is the only way I know how to describe it. There is a specific kind of wholeness that comes when the people who belong together are actually together. And when all 4 of those brothers were under the same roof on Tristan's birthday, the house felt whole. It felt right. And there is something specific about the way brothers interact that is unlike any other relationship I have ever watched. It is loud. It is layered. It is full of references and history and inside jokes that only work if you were there for the thing that started them. It is years of growing up in the same house, sharing the same space, getting on each other's nerves, and having each other's backs. all compressed into a conversation that moves so fast an outsider could barely keep up. That is brothers. Brothers who know each other in a way that is hard to replicate anywhere else. They know the best version of you and the worst version of you and every version in between. They know exactly which buttons to push and exactly when to back off. They know how to make you laugh harder than anyone else can. And they know how to show up when it matters without making a big deal about showing up. That is brothers. And watching all 4 of them together that day was one of the highlights of the whole birthday for me. You could see it on Tristan's face, the way he just settled in, the way the tension of everyday life kind of dropped off his shoulders when everyone was around. Because when your brothers are there, you are home. No matter where you are home. Gavin's girlfriend Riley was also there, and she just belonged. That is the only way I can describe it. She was not on the edges of the day. She was not sitting back trying to figure out the room. She was right in the middle of everything, laughing, talking, comfortable. And that is such a good sign when someone fits into your family the way she does. It tells you something about who they are and how they move through the world. Then we have 5 of Tristan's cousins over. The cousins are their own specific kind of gift. They are close enough to be family and just different enough from your immediate circle that they bring fresh energy into the room. They know your family's story, but they have their own spin on all of them. They care about you in that deep-rooted way that only comes from years of shared family history. But they are also fun. Cousins know how to have fun. And 5 of them together in one house on a birthday? That house came alive. The noise level went up. The laughter got louder. The day got bigger. And it was exactly what we needed. And then we had Dan and his son Aaron. Dan is someone who has been in our lives long enough that the word friend almost feels like it does not cover it. He is family. He is the kind of person who shows up, who is just there, who fits into our world as naturally as if he had always been part of it. And Aaron, right alongside him. When I looked around that room at all of those faces, I had one of those moments. You know, the kind where you are in the middle of everything and you just stop and you look and you really see it. I saw Tristan laughing with his brothers. I saw cousins crowded around the food. I saw Riley talking with someone in the corner. I saw Dan and Aaron right in the mix. And I thought, this is it. This right here. This is the whole point. This is what all the hard work of building a family is for. Not the picture-perfect version of a family, not the created version, the real version, the loud version, the version where everyone is eating too much and talking too fast and nobody is trying to impress anybody. This is the version that actually lasts. This is the version that Tristan will carry with him for the rest of his life, and I was so glad we gave it to him. Now, I cannot close out the story of this day without talking about the weather, because the weather was absolutely doing its thing. While we were right in the middle of the celebration, a severe thunderstorm rolled through, and I mean a real one. Not the kind where it drizzles a little and the sky gets gray and you think, might rain later. I mean thunder, big, deep, rolling thunder that you do not just hear, you feel it. You feel it in the floor a little bit. You feel it in your chest if the windows are close enough. Lightning flashes outside, rain hitting hard against the windows. And then, because the weather apparently felt like making a point, there was also a snow squall warning on top of it all. A thunderstorm and a snow squall at the same time, in the same afternoon. Make it make sense. But here's the thing. The storm did not put a dent in our day. Not even a little bit. It actually made the day better. And I have thought about why that is since then, because I think it is interesting. When the weather is wild outside and you are warm and safe and surrounded by good people inside, something shifts. The contrast sharpens everything. The food tastes a little better. The laughter sounds a little warmer. The room feels more like the place you are supposed to be. There is something primal about it, honestly. Some deep human thing that kicks in when there is a storm outside and you're inside with your people. It makes the warmth feel more real. It makes the safety feel more valuable. It makes you look around at the people with you and feel genuinely grateful that they are there. Because outside, the sky is cracking open. Wind was pushing against the house. Rain was coming down hard. And inside? Inside there were wings being passed around. There was mac and cheese on the table. There were brothers giving each other a hard time. There were cousins being cousins. There was laughter coming from every direction. The storm could not touch any of it. And I think that is actually a pretty good picture of what a strong family feels like. Not immune to storms, not pretending the hard things do not happen, but solid enough, warm enough, full enough that when the storm comes, it just makes the inside feel better. It just makes you hold tighter to the people who are already there. That is what family does. That is what it is for. And on Tristan's birthday, in the middle of a thunderstorm and a snow squall warning, that is exactly what it felt like. I want to take a quick moment here and just talk about Tristan. Not the birthday, not the food or the people or the weather, just him. Because this whole episode is really about him, and he deserves more than just a passing mention. I have had the privilege of watching this kid grow up, and I do not take that lightly. Watching someone grow up is one of the most humbling, beautiful, sometimes heartbreaking, always worth it experiences there is. Because you see it all. The good days and the frustrating ones. The moments where they surprise you with how far they have come. The moments where you see them struggle and you want to step in and fix it. But you know the best thing you can do is let them figure it out. All of it. And what I can tell you about Tristan after watching all of that is this. He is his own person. Genuinely, specifically, irreplaceably his own person. He is funny in a way that catches you off guard. Not the kind of funny that is always performing. Not the kind that is working for the laugh. Just naturally, instinctively funny in a way that comes out at the most unexpected moments. The kind of funny that makes you laugh before you have even processed why. He is more thoughtful than he always lets on. He pays attention. He notices things about people around him. He cares about his brothers in a way that shows up in the details. In the moments you might not notice if you were not paying attention, but they are there. He has a quietness in him that holds a lot. And as he steps into 20, as he steps further into his own adult life, I think that quietness is going to serve him well. I think all of it is going to serve him well. Because he has a solid foundation, he has people who love him, he has a family who shows up. He has grown up watching what real commitment looks like, what real loyalty looks like. What it looks like when people build something together and protect it together and show up for each other, even when it's inconvenient. He has seen that up close his whole life. And that is not something you can teach in a classroom. That is something you absorb, something you take in over the years and years of watching the people around you live it. He knows what real looks like. He has seen it at this table, in this house, in the people who drove through the storm to be there for his birthday. That knowledge is going to carry him further than he knows. When things get hard, and things always get hard at some point, he is going to know what to reach for. He is going to know that you reach for the people. You gather them. You let them in. You feed them and make them laugh and let the house get loud and trust that warmth will hold against whatever storm is blowing through. That is what he has learned here. And that is the best thing we could have ever given him. So here is what I want to say directly to Tristan. If you ever listen to this or read this or somebody tells you about this someday, your 20th birthday was one of those days that I am going to keep. Not on a shelf, not in a photo album, but in my heart, in that part of you where the really good things live. Because it was real and full, and you were surrounded by love. And that is everything a birthday should be. And like every good birthday, the night ended with cake. Now I know that sounds simple. I know cake is just a thing that happens at birthdays. But I always want to push back on the idea that the cake moment is just a formality, because it is so much more than that. Cake is the gathering moment. It is the moment where everyone who has been spread across the room, talking in different corners, doing different things, all comes together in the same space. Everyone stops. Everyone turns. Phones come out. Somebody starts singing, and then everybody joins in. Some on key and some very much not. And nobody cares. And then the birthday person is right there in the middle of it. Candles lit, room full, everybody looking at them, everyone there for them, just for that moment. Just for that specific, singular, beautiful moment. And no matter how many times you have been part of that circle, no matter how many birthdays you have stood around and sung through, it never gets old. There is still something there, something in the air, something that feels important without being able to say exactly why. Watching everyone gather around Tristan for that moment was one of those things I will carry with me for a long time. I looked at his face. I looked at all the faces around him. His brothers, his cousins, Riley, Dan, Aaron, everyone who had came out in the middle of a thunderstorm and a snow squall warning, just to be able to be in that room, just to sing a song, just to stand around a cake and say with their presence that this moment matters, that he matters, because he does. And the cake moment said it better than any speech ever could. It said it the way only a full room can. Let me come back to the recipe for just a little bit longer, because I mentioned them in the food section and I want to give them the space they deserve. Grandma Darlene's mac and cheese and mashed potatoes were not just side dishes, they were presents. They were a reminder that the people we love do not just disappear when they leave us. They stay in the things they made, in the habits they built, in the recipe they wrote down so we could keep making what they made and feel them close again when we need it most. Grandma Darlene understood the table. She understood what it means to feed people, not just to give them calories, but to give them care, to give them the message that says, you are welcome here, you are wanted here, sit down and stay a while. That is what her cooking said. That is what I try to carry forward every time I pull out her recipes. Her mac and cheese is one of those dishes that looks simple but tastes like somebody really cared. Real ingredients, real effort, real love cooked right into every bite. And when you taste it, you know. You just know that somebody made this with intention. Made it thinking about who was going to be at the table. Made it wanting it to be good, wanting it to feel like home. The mashed potatoes are the same way. Warm and smooth and buttery, and the kind of thing you reach for when the world feels a little heavy and you need something solid and comforting and true. On Tristan's birthday, with the storm outside and the house full inside, those dishes were the perfect anchor. They grounded the whole table. They made everything feel more settled, more right, more like the family gathering it was meant to be. And every single person who took a bite got a little piece of Grandma Darlene, whether they knew it or not. This is the magic of cooking from someone's recipe. That is the legacy that lives in the food. I am so glad we made those dishes that day, and I plan to keep making them for every family table we ever gather around. I want to share one of those recipes with you before we close out this episode, because one of my favorite things about this show is sharing pieces of our life with you. Not just the stories, but the practical things. The things that you can actually bring into your own home, and your own kitchen, and your own table. So here it is. Grandma's style creamy mashed potatoes. This is the recipe. This is the real one. And it is simple enough that anybody can do it and delicious enough that everybody will come back for seconds. Here's what you need. 5 pounds of potatoes. You can use russet potatoes, which are the classic choice. They are starchy and they mash up beautifully. 2 sticks of butter, not a half stick, not a tablespoon or 2 full sticks. This is not the time to be shy about the butter. And here is the secret ingredient that makes the mashed potatoes great. You add the 2 sticks of butter, you add the milk. I just kind of pour the milk to what I think, because Grandma really never had a set measuring of the milk. The most important ingredient is the salt and pepper. And if you like a little extra warmth in the flavor, a pinch of garlic powder. That is the whole list. Simple, real, nothing fancy. Here is how you make it. Peel your potatoes and cut them into pieces. The reason you want them even is so that they cook at the same rate. If you have big chunks and small chunks cooking together, the small ones are going to get overcooked before the big ones are ready. Even pieces means even cooking. Once they are all cut, put them into a big pot and cover them with cold water. Add a generous amount of salt in the water. This is important. The water should taste salty, not unbearably salty, but noticeably salty, because potatoes absorb the seasoning from the water as they cook. And if the water is bland, the potatoes are going to be bland no matter how much you season them afterwards. Salt your water every time. Bring the pot to a boil and let the potatoes cook until they are completely fork tender. You want to be able to push the fork right through the center of a piece without any resistance at all. If there is even a little bit of pushback, give them more time. Uncooked potatoes do not mash well. Trust the fork. When they are ready, drain them completely. Shake the pot a little to get all the water off. Then, put the potatoes back into the warm pot. Now, here's where it all comes together. Add your 2 full sticks of butter right away. The heat from the potatoes will melt it, and you will see it start to soak right in. Add your milk. Season with salt and pepper, and if you choose garlic powder, if that's what you're using. And then mash them. Use a potato masher or a hand mixer depending on how smooth you like them. If you use a hand mixer, be careful not to overmix. Overmixing makes potatoes gluey. You want smooth and creamy, not sticky. Mash until everything is fully combined and there are no lumps hiding in there. Then taste. This is the most important step. Taste your potatoes and adjust the seasoning. Maybe they need more salt. Maybe they need more butter. Maybe a touch of milk. You are the cook. You get to decide. Trust your taste. And then right before you bring them to the table, add 1 more extra pat of butter right on top and let it melt over everything. The last pat of butter is more than just flavor. It is the presentation. It is warmth. It is the finishing touch that says, I made this for you and I wanted it to be good. Serve them hot. Bring them to the table and watch them disappear because they will. I promise you they will. As I think back to Tristan's 20th birthday, a few things keep coming back to me. Not the logistics, not the planning or the timing or the number of wings, but the feeling. The feeling is what stays. It always is. The sound of that house full of people is what keeps coming back to me. The way voices overlap when everyone is comfortable. The way brothers laugh at things that only brothers understand. The way cousins bring that specific energy that is different from anybody else. The way good friends blend right into the family without any seams. The way thunder sounds when you are safe inside with people you love. I keep thinking about how fast these years go by. How one day you are holding a tiny person who is completely new to the world, and then you blink, or you do not blink. You try your hardest to pay attention and not miss anything. And still, somehow, 20 years have passed, and that tiny person is now a young man, standing on the edge of everything that is coming next. Time is not something you can slow down, no matter how much you want to, but you can be present in it. You can stop and look around and really take in the moments that deserve to be taken in. And Tristan's 20th birthday was absolutely one of those moments. I looked around that room multiple times throughout the day, and I made myself notice it. Not just move through it, notice it. The food, the people, the noise, the warmth. The storm outside making the warmth inside feel so much more real. And I thought, this is going to be a memory. This is going to be one of those days we talk about. Remember when we all packed into the house for Tristan's 20th birthday and there was a thunderstorm and a snow squall at the same time? And we ate 74 wings and laughed all day? Yeah, that is going to be a story. And I am so glad we lived it. I want to spend a few minutes on something that this day reminded me of. Something that I think is worth saying out loud, because I think a lot of us need to hear it from time to time. Family does not look like a magazine spread. It does not look like a perfectly styled gathering with matching table settings and a menu that took a week to plan and everyone dressed to match the color scheme. Real family is messier than that, louder than that, better than that. Real family looks like 74 wings on a table that is already crowded. It looks like brothers giving each other a hard time from the moment they walk in the door. It looks like cousins showing up and immediately making everything louder and faster and more alive. It looks like a good friend who drives over an hour in the middle of a thunderstorm because he said he would be there, and that means he is going to be there. It looks like Grandma Darlene's mac and cheese on the table because some recipes are too important to save for just the big holidays. Some recipes need to show up on a random Saturday afternoon when the people you love are gathered and the weather is wild and the house is full. Real family is a house that is not perfectly clean, and a table that is definitely too full, and a room that is too loud for polite conversations, but perfect for the kind of conversations that actually matter. Real family shows up in the storm with ranch dressing and all the inside jokes and all the history and all the love that does not always get said out loud, but is absolutely there. You feel it. And that is what we had on Tristan's 20th birthday. We were not trying to be perfect. We were trying to be present. And being present was way more than enough. It was everything. There is something I want to say about the word together, because I think it is one of the most important and underrated words there is. Together does not mean agreeing with everything. Together does not mean no tension or no friction or no moments where someone is getting on someone else's last nerve. Together just means present, willing to be in the same place at the same time, committed to the same thing, willing to show up even when it's raining outside and the roads are slick and the weather report is making you question all of your life decisions, willing to sit at a table that has too many elbows on it, willing to pass the ranch dressing and ask for another wing and stay a little longer than you planned because the conversation is still going and the room still feels right. That is together. And together is the whole thing. Together is what we are building every time we gather. Every birthday, every holiday, every random Sunday where someone shows up and ends up staying for dinner because nobody wanted to leave yet. We are building together, one gathering at a time, one table at a time, one house full of wings and laughter and stormy weather at a time. And Tristan's 20th birthday was one of the best versions of that I have ever been part of. Before I close out this episode, I want to say something directly to Tristan, because this is his day. The whole episode is because of him. And I do not want to tell his story to everyone else without also speaking right to him. So Tristan, 20 years ago, something changed in our world. You arrived. And you changed things in ways that I did not even fully understand at the time. You gave us something new to love, something new to show up for. And every single year since that day, you have kept doing that, kept growing into yourself, kept surprising us, kept showing up in your own specific, one-of-a-kind way. And that is not something that happens on its own. That is something you have worked at. Maybe you do not even realize you have worked at it. But becoming yourself takes work. It takes showing up through the hard stuff. It takes learning from the moments that did not go the way you wanted. It takes staying curious and staying open and staying connected to the people who love you. And you have done all of that. Every person in that room on your birthday was there because they wanted to be, because they love you, not because of obligation, not because they were supposed to be there, but because being in your corner felt like the right place to be. That is not something everybody has. And I hope you know that. I hope you carry that with you. 20 is a beginning. There is so much ahead of you. So much you are going to do and see and build and figure out. There are going to be days that are hard and days that are incredible and a whole lot of regular days that are the real fabric of a life. And we are going to be right there, cheering you on, proud of you, always. Happy 20th birthday, Tristan. We love you more than a podcast episode could ever fully say, but we will try anyway. To everyone listening to We Are the Hansons today, from wherever you are, thank you. Thank you for spending time with our family. Thank you for letting us share the real moments of this life with you. The messy ones, the full ones, the ones that do not always look perfect, but always feel true. I started this show because I believe family stories deserve to be told. I believe the small moments deserve to be remembered. I believe that when we share the real parts of our lives with each other, we build something important: connection, recognition, the knowledge that none of us are doing this alone. Whether your family looks exactly like ours or completely different, I hope something in today's episode felt familiar. I hope it made you think about your own people, your own table, your own version of 74 wings and a thunderstorm and a room full of laughter. Because your version of that exists, or it can. The ingredients are simpler than you think. Show up for each other, feed each other well, make space for the noise, and recognize the good days when you are in them. Do not wait until after the fact to appreciate them. Look around right now. If you have people, if you have a table, if you have someone whose laughter you would recognize anywhere, that is the good stuff. That has always been the good stuff. And I think one of the things we lose sight of in the daily rush of life is just how much the ordinary good stuff matters. We spend so much time chasing the big moments, the milestones, the events that feel significant enough to mark on our calendars. And those matter. They absolutely matter. But the ordinary good stuff is happening all around us all the time. It is in the weekend that gets a little loud. It is in the recipe you make because it reminds you of someone. It is in a friend who drives over in a storm because he said he would. It is in the brothers who tease each other and love each other and cannot imagine the world without one another in it. It is in the cousins who fill a room with energy you did not even know was missing until they walked through the door. It is in the birthday person who does not ask for anything fancy, who just wants his people and gets them. This is ordinary good stuff, and ordinary good stuff is actually the best stuff. It is the stuff that holds a life together. It is the stuff you think about when the world gets hard. It is the stuff that pulls you back to yourself when you feel like you have drifted too far from who you are. So whatever your version of this looks like, I hope you build it. I hope you protect it. I hope you show up for it. And I hope you tell the stories, because the stories matter. The stories are how we remember. The stories are how we say, this happened, and it was real, and it was ours. Tristan's 20th birthday happened. It was real. It was ours, and now it is also yours. A small piece of it, carried in this episode, shared with you because that is what this show is all about. Hold on to the good days. Tell the stories. Love your people out loud. Until next time, this is Maya Hansen, reminding you that the most important story you will ever tell is the one about the people you love. We are the Hansens, and we are just getting started.